Okay, but first, before we get to our new sessions, let's have our performances from the folks who volunteered to perform what we learned last session. Valerie,
Okay.
Yes.
I think you were first. Are you ready to perform for us?
As ready as I'll ever be.
All right, come on, Valerie. Everybody, it'll be your turn
Okay.
sometime. Come on.
Lower your expectations, guys. Okay. So I don't know about you guys, but since COVID, I haven't had much work, not to say that work has been pretty much non-existent. So I've been trying to think of ways to make more money. And I just thought maybe magic could help. So I read something in Mark's book and I thought I'd try it. So what it is basically is you get a quarter. You see it? So that's a quarter. And I'm going to try and multiply this quarter if I can. Okay. So attention, abracadabra, petite pièce, multiplie-toi, petite pièce, multiplie-toi. And we have two, and not only do we have two coins, but they are $50. I don't know if you can see.
Ah.
Now, once I've done this, I usually keep half for myself, so I can have spending money. And the other one, I deposit into my bank, but of course it's not a normal bank, it's a magical bank. In fact, it's a magical credit union. And the deposit is a mobile deposit, but it's pretty simple. So they told me to get a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, because you don't need to write anything on it. Okay, and now you're going to place the coin inside the paper. I don't know if you can see that. So I'm going to wrap it securely because it's going to be teleported straight into my bank account. So I'm going to fold the paper. See? Okay. Can you see the coin? I'm going to show you. Let's see what I have. Make sure the coin's in there. And now make sure it's very secure because you don't want it to go to, another bank like Bank of America or something really horrible. So what I do is I keep the coin wrapped securely, and then with my magic wand, téléportatis célesta, téléportatis, petite pièce de monnaie, envole-toi. And then let's see if the deposit worked. And yes, it's gone into my account. There we go. Simple. Much better than getting these $10 bills from Bank of America yesterday, because that took 1 hour.
Oh my goodness.
And then I got home and he said, can you get an extra one? And I was like,
that was so good. Oh my gosh.
That
Anyway.
was
Great.
and mine are all like messed up as well. I didn't think of asking for like flat ones or anything. So they completely crumpled up. And messed
that's okay. It'll still work.
Anyway, that was that.
That was
Valerie,
great.
that was great. I loved it.
Yes.
Okay, I'm glad because I wasn't sure what I was doing.
No, I love how you started. I mean, first of all, points for going and getting a second trick and adding to it. You went.
Yeah, I just felt it was a bit too weird otherwise.
Okay.
Too short, yeah.
Yeah. You had a lead into it, and that there was more magic. So points for adding to it and going above and beyond. You had a great little story that for your reason that you're doing all this. You created
It's a sad true story.
Okay. No, but you created a metaphor. This is how you deposit money into your bank.
Yeah.
And
I didn't like I'm sorry to interrupt. I didn't like the idea of the money tomb. I mean, for me, it was like, no, I'm not putting my money in a tomb.
Right. Well, and that's fine. And that's what Ryan came up with. And it's it's appropriate. I mean, it's better to come up with your own story. We can You can, if somebody has published a routine or written it down and you've purchased it, then you can do the routine that they've written. But it may or may not fit your personality or style or so on. And so it's, it's always fun and arguably better to come up with your own presentation for something. And you went and did that, and it suited you and fit you really well. I was engaged and amused and delighted. So thank you. Any other comments, notes, suggestions? No?
I liked it. I thought it was good.
Thank you.
Fair
I
enough.
was very stressed out. I'm always very stressed out because I'm on my own, so I wasn't able to show this to anyone. So I've been doing it just on my own in front of the pets and the camera. So it's hard to get any feedback or,
The pets are not forthcoming with.
Well, they don't give me pressure like a human would, because they're very understanding. They like everything I do, basically.
Oh,
I thought it was perfect.
Thank you so
Valerie, I
much.
thought you did a perfect job.
Thank you so much.
well done.
I loved it. I loved that you used French for your magic words. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes.
Did anybody understand what I was saying?
What did
What
you
were
say?
you saying?
Yeah.
The first one, I was just saying little coin, please multiply. And then second one, I was going little coin. I used some teleportati celestia, which is like, that's Latin. And then I said little coin, just fly away to my bank.
See, and that's great. And it felt, I couldn't understand it myself, but it felt very you.
Yeah.
And so that's, as when I'm watching magic, that's what I really want to see.
One concern I had is, can you see the switch between the quarter to the $half? Because I wasn't sure that was obvious.
Didn't see it, didn't know what I was looking for.
No, but I mean, when I start with a quarter and then it transforms into $2 half, but I wasn't sure if that was visible, that it went from this size to that size.
No, I
No,
couldn't.
yeah.
I couldn't.
That's what I thought, yeah, which
Yeah.
loses a little bit of the, the effect.
Yeah, I couldn't. I didn't see that I didn't see the impact of that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
I
then
didn't
you
see it all
double it.
either.
Because then you multiply it and then you make them bigger at the same time. So really, you'll quadruple the coin value.
Right.
But with
I
the
saw
camera,
it. I
you
saw it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was obvious.
You might be able to get like a golden dollar instead. So it would be like a dollar.
I just think, I think in person, it will be more obvious. I think with the camera, because I was getting a lot of, I don't know, reflection or whatever.
That may be.
Maybe
I was surprised when you showed the coins to the camera and they were $half. I thought they were 2 quarters at first. So that really kind of got me.
Okay, so you saw
Yeah.
that it was bigger.
Okay, thank you so much, Valerie. That was great.
Thank
Yes,
you.
it was.
Yumi, you are next. Are you ready to perform for us?
Not really, but
Okay. Are you
Yumi, if I can do it, you can do it.
anyway?
yeah, I have a long story. My parents moved in and my dad had a stroke a month ago. And it's just been nonstop, but let
Oh
me
my goodness.
try.
But that means you have a captive audience you can perform for. So
Maybe. Well, so hi, I'm Yumi, and I am going to try to do a coin trick for you. So can everybody see the plain everyday quarter? And I
Mhm.
have found a hanky. Can you see the hanky? It's see-through, unfortunately or fortunately, but let me put the quarter in the middle of the hanky. Let's see, right about here. Can you see? It's in here. I'll give you a little peek because some people think it's not in here. So I just wanted to make sure you see it. And then let me give it a little pinch and I'm going to twist it 3 times. Once, twice, and 3 times, and give it a blow and twist it out. And there is no hole, but it came out. I guess my powders needs a little work. Thank you.
good job.
That doesn't need a little work. I thought that was really good.
Oh, thanks. Thanks. It did actually, for me, the quarter was almost going to fall out, but I don't know if you can see that.
I
I
didn't.
think the 3 twist was cool. I mean, that made it look real.
Oh, I had to do that because the first time I thought similar to Ryan, I was like twisting and twisting and twisting and really getting it in there. And I struggled so much to get the quarter out that I had to limit myself to just 3 twists, and then I could finally get it out. So that was my learning thing, because I just thought, oh, I can just twist it and twist it and twist it. And then it just looked fake because I was struggling too much to loosen it to get it out. So those are the things that I learned from trying to, I guess, perform, and things that didn't work and things that worked. Limit the twisting into the box. But I thought that I should try to tell people what I'm going to do, so they're like following what I'm doing, but I'm not sure if that's something I shouldn't do or not. I don't know. What is your thought on that?
I thought it was good.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I have one suggestion,
Go ahead.
and that would be right at the beginning. You said, I'm going to show you a magic trick. Instead of saying something like that, maybe do something like, I'd like to show you my my scarf here that has a disappearing hole.
Oh,
And then go
okay.
into the effect from there.
Oh, that's good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great job. You did it very nicely. I would say in general, two comments about the presentation,
Uh-huh.
2 suggestions. One, similarly, is that the what you said while you performed was very voiceover. I am now doing this. I am going to do this next.
Oh,
I am taking this and putting this here, and it's a little, and it's a little dry.
yes.
They can see what you're doing.
Yes. Okay.
And maybe what you talk about is the reason that you're doing it, or what you want them to think about what you're doing, or that like put the folding the coin into the piece of paper isn't just I'm folding the coin into a piece of paper for no apparent reason. It's a tomb. It's putting it into the bank. There's a metaphor to it.
Yes.
So you might want to think about what you want that to be, or maybe you're just I'm going to show you something really curious.
Okay.
I
was Googling like the trick to see if I could get some more interesting. I also thought, even when we were taught, I thought, oh, it's really, that's exactly what I'm doing, what I'm saying. And so I thought, oh, there should be a better pattern to it, but I couldn't find anything. It was very, I don't know. I didn't find anything. So your suggestions are great. I'll try to work on it.
Well, and it's something, and I mean, research is always, it's always a good instinct, and it's always, usually my first instinct. You can also make something up of your own. What about this process speaks to you? Does the putting of the coin in the handkerchief remind you of anything? I don't know. It's when would you take this action and put a cover over something? I don't know. We could brainstorm.
Okay, I'll make sure to put it in my final performance so you can see what I come up with.
Yes, I love it. Awesome.
The
other comment that I would make is that you sounded very tentative.
Oh, yes. It's probably because I haven't rehearsed it enough.
Fair enough. And that is a dramatic choice that you can make. To say, okay, I'm going to be the nervous magician, and I'm going to be, and I'm going to be nervous and tentative and unsure, and then wow, it came out and everything's okay.
Right.
And that is a legitimate dramatic choice.
Yes.
I'm not sure that that's the choice that you were making.
No, it was not. It's my unpracticed coming out for real.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had a busy work week, so.
So I would suggest it is a skill that can be learned. be brazen.
Okay.
No, you're not ready. You're gonna go. You're gonna give it a shot. You know what? Let's do it anyway. And you're awesome.
Okay.
Mhm.
I probably live closest to Valerie, so I'm gonna go get some magic tips from Valerie, and maybe I could throw some French or Japanese in there.
Oh yeah, work. Meet for lunch. Work together. Try some brainstorm. That's great. I love it. And if somebody else had a comment or a question.
Well, I had a comment that the twisting was an issue for you. One of the things that I found, Yumi, is if you twist it enough and ask the person to hold out their hands and just hold it and let it on twist, you'll find if you jiggle the napkin or whatever you're using, the coin will fall out in the person's hand.
Very good. I will try. I tried to do a twist on that and try to just let it go, but then it untwisted really quick and it just dropped on the table. So I'll have to work on it. But good idea. I'll try to do that. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
and I like the fact that you could almost see through the silk. So you could actually, in the beginning, unconsciously see the coin inside the napkin.
Got it. Thank you. Thanks so
I
much.
like that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that looks really good.
Thank you. Thanks for your constructive ideas.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Great job, Yumi. All right, and we have last but not least, Karen, where are you?
I am here.
Wait. There you are. Okay. Had to find you in the grid. All right, Karen, are you ready to perform for us today?
I am ready.
Fabulous.
So, unfortunately, I can't do my camera so you can see me and the thing, but here's me. Hello.
Hello.
And here is what you want to look at. So tomorrow is the annual event of the Academy Awards, a very exciting night for movie lovers. So I thought we could have some fun with that. And I have here 4 coins, and I'm going to focus on the movie West Side Story. And I chose that movie because given its longevity and the fact that the movie that's up for nominations is not a new movie, but a recreation of one that's been around for a while, I figure it's the probably greatest common denominator among us and the one that most people would know. So among the nominations for West Side Story are Best Costume, and this quarter, I've got 4 quarters, this one's going to represent Best Costume. Also Best Director, we have Best Song and Best Picture. So once more, Best Costume, Best Director, Best Song, Best Picture. So what we're going to do is see if we can portray some winnings among these for West Side Story. So we'll start with this one, which is Best Song. So Best Song is probably Maria, and we're going to give West Side Story that one. So West Side Story, we'll say, has won Best Song. Can they now win any others? So let's go with Best Costume. We'll see if they can win Best Costume. This quarter represents Best Costume. So we'll move this quarter over, and if West Side Story wins, the quarter is going to come up through the cloth and it will be under the card. If it doesn't win, then we won't have the quarter. But we need some magic words. So I'm going to go this time with Abracadabra, and we'll look at the coins and look at that. So now we know that West Side Story has under its belt Best Song and Best Costume. So now let's see what we're going to go next. We're going to look at it will be Best Director. So this one represents Best Director. The competition is getting greater because the movies that are up for Best Director are really top of the line. So there's no guarantee for West Side Story, but we'll give it a try. We'll move that order over. We'll say some magic words. This time it'll be abracadabras. And now let's see, look at this. Wow, West Side Story in our view, in our version of the Academy Awards, has now won Best Costume, Best Director, and Best Song. So that leaves us with the Best Picture. And that one, of course, is the biggest, the best. It's the one that's awarded at the very end of the evening, allowing the anticipation to grow throughout the night. So we'll see if West Side Story in our version is going to win Best Picture. So we'll do one last magic word. It will be abracadabra. And now we'll see, since it's so powerful, this biggest and best award, we'll see if the quarter on its own has found its way to West Side Story, if in fact West Side Story is going to win. So we'll look, the coin is gone, but did West Side Story win? Here we go. If we had a drum beat, we would initiate at this point. Thank you. I hear thank you, whoever that is. And here we go. Wow, look at that. So in our version of West Side of the Academy Awards, West Side Story walks away with it all. They would be feeling pretty at this point. We'll see tomorrow whether in fact our version replicates the real thing.
Oh, that was fun. Any comments, thoughts, reactions? Ron Z.
Karen, your magic was excellent, but your patter was superb. I mean, yeah, I really enjoyed it.
The only thing I was thinking is it's good because it's the day before the Oscars, but that kind of limits the amount of like when you can do it during the year.
Yes, no question. But what I like about it is that you can adapt it. So something else might be relevant another time, or it's a trick that you don't use if it doesn't fit in for something that has 4 relevant things. But yeah, you're right. This version clearly has a finite application.
Special one just for us.
Yeah, good. Custom. I love it. Any other thoughts, comments? Anybody else?
Yeah, I have one. I who could not do coins to save my life.
And where are
And
you?
You did a good job, but I did see you flash one time there. And I could see it. The card was held up a little high. If you would have tilted it down just a little bit, you wouldn't have flashed.
Got it. Thank you. That's critical. Yeah, I sort of in the middle of it. Where am I? Yeah, I was sort of had to focus on that and not so much on my maneuvers. Thank you.
I can't do coins at all, so you did a great job.
Good.
I love the patter. It was great. So, I mean, but for me, somebody like me, that was too many things for me to remember. So you must have practiced a lot because you did it really smoothly. I just like, oh, I wouldn't be able to remember what card is for what. So, but the fact that you did it really smoothly without, no hesitation, that was well practiced. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I left out the line that West Side Story is one of the many Tony movies that are up for awards. Tony.
All right. Anybody else? Any other thoughts? Okay, I had here we go. Yeah, just a couple of comments. I mean, I loved it. I thought it was really fun. I love that it was timely. It was something that you were, really seemed interested in. I loved the puns because I love a bad pun or a good pun. Same thing in a lot of people's views.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple of things. Important to remember to keep the cards oriented this way and not this way, just to watch your angles as you pick stuff up.
Yeah, critical.
Yep. And when I would do a little bit less, I don't know if you wrote this out. When I do a script like this, I always write it out and then cut mercilessly. There was a lot of, I'm going to do this, and a lot of explaining. And if you just do it, they'll figure it out. So it's one thing to say, okay, each of these quarters is an award, and it's that. If you just put the 4 quarters out and you say that the show is up for, the movie's up for 4 Oscars, best picture, best song, best whatever, best costumes, they'll get that each quarter represents an Oscar.
Got it.
So they'll get it. And then, so you can sort of minimize the explanation and just announce the metaphor. And that'll let them be with you. And then, as you go through each, let's see in our Oscars, or maybe it's a prediction for tomorrow. See if the prediction, are they going to, we'll put the Oscar for best song under here. Let's see, are they going to win it? Then you lift it, the winner is, and then you lift it. Yeah, the West Side Story won the Oscar for best. Oh, fantastic! And now let's look at the Oscar for best, scenery, or whatever the thing is. So you can sort of do more of be more in the moment with them, and let them be in the moment. That was fantastic. I loved it. I kind of wish I'm going to watch the recording later because I want to make sure that I note down all those puns.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
So I perform for kids. I wouldn't do this routine for kids, but analogizing, I always err on the side of being over explanatory of what I'm doing because they're kids. Is that a mistake?
I don't know that I'd say mistake. I don't know that you have to do that. If you're telling them, I'm now putting the thing in the other thing, they can see that. Unless they're visually impaired, then you need to tell them what you're doing. But, I think that announcing what you're doing, it removes you from whatever the storyline is that you're telling. It breaks part of the illusion. And so my feeling is that if you say, here we have the princess who is running away from the castle. I don't have to then continue to explain that I'm, and now the princess encounters, the dragon, and the princess fights the dragon, and, I don't have to tell you I'm going to tie this up. I can tell you that the princess is fighting the dragon. I'm going to regret this when I watch the video later, aren't I? The princess is fighting the dragon and defeats the dragon. And I don't have to explain that now that the handkerchief is knotted around the glue stick, because I can just tell you the princess has defeated the dragon. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they'll get the literal what's going on, and then if the trick is then the dragon escapes by it's glue stick through silk, if that's the trick that I'm doing, then I tell but the dragon waited for the dead of night and escapes, whoosh. I don't have to tell you about the physical things. I'm telling you the story. And I think they'll get the physical things if you just talk about the story. Does that?
Got it. Yeah, that's big. That's okay. Great.
Okay.
Thank you. Helpful.
Okay. Awesome. All right. By the way, the story of the princess and the dragon to the silk through glue stick is, patent pending. No, I'm just kidding. Take it. Somebody do that for your last show. I want to see the Princess and the Dragon silk through. Any other comments before we move on to new business, new magic? Okay, then. Thank you so much, Karen. Fantastic job. All of our performers, you were great. I love seeing you perform and do what you've been learning, and wonderful work, all of you. And now we have our guest professor from the Department of Resorcery. Bob Durante, aka Mr. Zap, has been presenting and working in the magic arena since the mid-70s. He was mentored by many magicians and had a very close relationship with Slidini. Bob started as a trade show magician and then ventured into the world of school assemblies, libraries, and camp programs. He's partners with his wife, Sue, in an event planning company, Zap Entertainment, where they book over 450 shows a year. They've won numerous awards for their unique approach to party planning and are the go-to company in Cleveland. Currently, he's a member of both the SAM and a magic club with whose name I will not speak here, and writes a monthly column entitled Teaching Magic in the magazine of that other organization, which shall not be named. He moderates the Lucas Zombrowski Zoom session group that meets monthly. Along with performing, Bob really enjoys the theatrical side of our art. So please, Bob, thank you so much for coming today. I'm going to spotlight you and take it away for
Welcome.
Magic with Bills.
How's everybody doing?
Woo!
Some great routines there. I was watching you ladies and gents thinking you should probably change the name of this from beginner magicians to novice magicians or something. And one thing I just wanted to say, because it's a big thing that I try teaching people, is script writing is really important for a show. And the nice thing about everybody has Zoom now, you can record yourself, and just like how you should remove lines from your script to tighten up your tricks, you could remove moves the same way. So things don't get real repetitious and all that. So everybody bought some bills with them. With the show of hands before we start, how many people do any bill magic now? A lot of you, or a few? Good. Well, I guess we should just roll up our sleeves and get into it then. And would it be neat if we had some money for this? I know everybody was talking about bills, so we might as well make some more and a bunch more come out. And that, my friends, is the power of Fidelity Investments. If you put just $1 a month. So this is actually a great little production. I don't know if I would do it for bills as much. It is nice for bills. It's a great way if you have to produce a silk in a show. If anybody does sponge balls, it's probably the best way to start with your hands empty and then produce your sponge ball. And that's why we asked everybody to bring at least $10 with them. I'm going to show you the basic principle behind this. And then I'll show you a couple different variations. One thing too, new bills, and I have some new bills, old bills, just like old coins, don't make noise. So you want to use bills that are pretty well worn for this compared to a brand new bill, because you got all that crunchy sound.
So don't listen to me is the first lesson that we learned today.
No. Well, no, you have new bills, that's what you get, but if you squish them all up and everything, you can just, I would think if you're in a restaurant doing this or at a party, they're not going to hear all the noise anyway, but we had to do so many shows over Zoom. So now this is the most important thing. When you roll these bills up, and like you only want like 4 or 5, unless you have huge hands. But you don't want to roll them real tight. You want to roll them loose, and the top piece has to be towards you. Because if it's the other way, it's harder for them to all open up. And you're just going to tuck that right into your sweater. or your shirt. So you can keep that there. You can gesture. Now, if you just have one bill, now you can show one bill, same thing. Pull your sleeves up. And now from here, so you know, with one bill, wouldn't it be neat if you could just sort of like produce one bill after another bill after another bill? And now you have all those extra bills. I think that looks kind of nicer. I'm gonna change my lighting a little bit here just to see if I can. So,
So when you do this,
Mhm.
let me just, here we go.
yeah, if everybody wants to get bills, I'd see a lot of guys all wear sweaters today or short sleeve shirts. So, but if you roll these up,
And when you roll it, so it should be, to use the toilet paper metaphor, should it be a bangs or a mullet?
you want the top portion on top. So that way you can just, because when you reach these up, you just want to be able to do that.
Okay, so you
And then
want
spread them
the outside edge of the bill on top
on top
towards you.
towards you. These
Okay.
edges, because if you have them if you have it this way, now you have to roll them up and it doesn't look right. So if you roll these to the side,
Okay, so
so they're here. Now watch, when you steal these out, you're just gonna, you're just have them held in your fingertips, but now I'm gonna push them up. So that gives you the idea that they're just up here. And
Okay, cool.
you want to try this with two, so then you want to put, and the same thing, you want to pull your shirt tight and then just flip that in there. That way you have a lot more material that way. And let me- Oh, somebody put, yes, this is on page 223.
Yeah.
of
That's right. I think that's right. Check.
All right, same thing. So now you're going to stick these in your sleeves.
Yes, this is
So-
bills from nowhere.
Right. So if you just want to come out, and you don't have to, it's the same thing now, you don't want to say, I think Kara was talking about, when you're writing a script, you don't want to say, look, my hands are empty, because everybody can see your hands are empty. So you can say, let me just start my show with a little bit of fun. So now I steal those out. You don't want to bring both. I'm going to open up one roll. And as that one's open, now I can bring up the other roll and make those up too. So now it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But you can follow that? You try to open up both rolls together. I mean, maybe if you had really big hands, you could do it, but you're gonna put the one roll that you're opening, you're gonna leave out. This roll is behind here now. And this is another reason why you want those to be able to flip up. If that was this way, I have to flip the whole roll up. So this way I can just hit it. And once again, everything comes out. I mean, with dollars, it's great. Would it be, I was thinking about this when I was practicing this. If you could find spring bills, if you, hold on a second. If you had spring bills, you could steal them out of your shirt and then poof, have a big bouquet of bills come out. I don't know if you're familiar with spring flowers, but they do make spring bills the same way.
So are we ready? Shall we all try this together?
But I see the move again on how you get the bills from the sleeve, because I was just trying it and it didn't feel good to me.
I'm just gonna do these with, so when you have these rolled, you want to have this flat part towards you. You want to roll this into the sleeve like that. So That's where they're at. So now I can just gesture, I can pull up this sleeve. As I pull this sleeve up, I'm just gonna grab those with my thumb. It's almost if anybody knows like a basic crayon vanish or cigarette vanish, that's where I'm gonna hold it. So,
Well, so hang on. Can we slow that down a little bit? Because I'm
Yeah.
not with you
Okay.
on that. Let's.
so this is gonna
So-
be in your
so
flap
here's-
up,
Here's my roll, and I've got the
Yeah.
top coming towards me.
right, and that's gonna just lay right in your sleeve like this,
And it goes here in my arm with the top, again, the top on top.
right, and pointing towards you.
And then I fold my sleeve down
You wanna take
away
this,
from me or towards
the
me?
front of your sleeve towards you.
Front of my, okay, so from the wrist up.
Right, yeah, it's just you're making that little pocket and folding
Okay.
that right into it.
I have now made oh, that's really nice. That actually makes
Yeah.
a little pocket.
Yeah, and you can move, yeah, once it's in there, I mean, you can move your hands around, it's not gonna pop out really.
No, that's pretty good.
So
Alright,
when
so
you're,
then-
when you're here, as you pull your sleeve up, you're gonna grab those. And I'm
And you
just
want me-
holding them just like this.
So
Mhm.
not in the fingers.
You don't want it in a finger palm, no, you wanna have it either this
I
way.
want to grab it. Okay, so it's between
That.
the heel of my hand
Right,
and the tip of my thumb.
yeah, thumb, or if you don't have real big hands, or, you could hold it in between your fingers and the heel of your hand.
Classic backstage view.
Right,
Here we go. So,
yeah, so we're here,
so here it's
yeah.
from the wrist up, it's buried under there.
Mm-hmm.
I then go to pull my sleeve up, and okay, see, that makes sense.
Right.
I sort of grab the whole thing. The
Mm-hmm.
left edge of the bill is against the heel of my left hand, and I just
Right.
clip, and I just push against the, oh, you can't really see that. So I just push
Exactly.
against that edge with
Exactly
my
it.
thumb.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And now when I let go, I'm in this position
Right.
with the roll.
Exactly. And now from here, you can let your fingers, trying to see where I, from here, and your fingers are just going to push everything up and start spreading everything out.
Okay, so how do I get from this position? I'm now here,
Mhm.
and I come forward, and I've got it, and
Yeah, you're here. So now here's the bills. You're going to put them in between your hands.
okay,
Keep so your fingers are sort of open, and now from that top piece, you're going to start to push them.
okay. So I
push 'em
kind of
out.
put my hands together and make a wall,
Right,
and then
as
start
they're-
unfurling.
right. And then just curl them up.
Okay,
Mhm. And if you move your hands forward, that gives, more than,
okay,
yeah, if you're holding them here and just come up, it looks like you're unrolling them out of your hand. So if you move your hands,
Okay.
in a forward motion, now it'll start to spread and you can get them all out.
all right. So anybody, do we have questions about this? Shall we try it together?
So basically, it's way better to have a stretchy sweater type shirt because mine's like a cotton one.
Yeah, it's
and
probably hard.
I kind of have to hold it with my arm.
Mhm. Yeah,
So because it unravels if I stretch it out, but you have a sweater-like material, so even if your arms are outstretched, it'll stay put.
it'll stay. I like, even if I'm doing this, I could see the bill here, but you can't. So I could pretty
Yeah.
much move my hands all around. It's not gonna fall out.
I'd say that if you have a stretch knit, it's gonna hold it all on its own, and you can pretty much do anything with your arm.
Yeah,
If it's not a stretch knit, if it's a cotton shirt or a button down or something, then you can totally do that as long as you have enough fabric to make your to cover it up here.
right.
Just keep your arm bent. Once you've set it, you keep your arms bent, and you just have to you set yourself either one sleeve or both sleeves, and then you come out with, if you want to produce it from a handkerchief or for whatever, but you start with your arms bent so that your elbows hold it into place, and the roll is tucked into your elbow.
Mhm.
One
Is
thing
that
that
right?
I've just noticed, well, I was rolling them so that when I displayed them, the faces of the bills showed. So
Yeah,
I don't
you-
know if that was, make much difference to your,
I wouldn't think so. I mean, people are gonna be far enough away, they're not gonna know if they're face up or face down, or it may look, a prettier display if you're in a room with only 20 people watch, at least if they're all facing the same way, it'll look nicer.
I'd like to see how you get it out from the sleeve again, because I'm grabbing material and mine looks phony, so how
So,
do you grab it out from your arm again? Really,
Yeah.
you could go really slow.
yeah, so you're gonna gesture as you pull you're showing this hand, and then as I'm stealing this, yeah, I'm just taking that right out. So now it's here. If you hold it, this way your fingers are a little loose. Now I can come over to this sleeve, do the same thing, and as soon as when that pulls, it's just gonna come right into my hand.
Okay.
So now I have those bills where they're gonna. This is probably the most important thing, is having the curled part of the bill out. So now I can start moving my hand as I know I'm almost through with the bills in this hand. Now I could take my thumb, flip up the other ones and start moving those as well. So just real slow. Now you made all those bills appear. You can do what's neat. If you can do this, I wouldn't suggest this. This actually I was at a Halloween show and a young magician did this. And he had probably 50 bills in each hand, and he's just letting them drop. And kids just jumped on the stage to take that money. And he actually used real bills. And yeah, he's just watching them. He lost complete control of his audience, and he lost $100.
Wow.
So,
Jackie, is that clear? Would you like the backstage view again, or you feel comfortable with that?
I think I'm comfortable with it. I just have to practice it. Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest thing is, if you just push that back, that's the motion that you're doing. And then as you pull your sleeves up, you're just gonna go behind. If you go where it's folded, it's not gonna work. So you go behind that fold.
Okay.
And that's just gonna roll right into your hand.
Okay.
So
And-
last question.
Mhm.
When you pull the sleeve up, then you pull the sleeve up that doesn't have the money first, and then you go to the one that.
Well, I have money in both sleeves for this.
Oh.
Yeah, there's money in both sleeves. That's why you're picking up 2 packs. So here I have 1 pack
got it.
left. This is gonna go on my right. Now, actually, and this is in the second part of the instructions in the book. He does it with 1 bill, so now you have them in both sleeves. So I can just stop. Same thing, when I pull, I want to go behind where the fold is and just pull that out as I'm pulling my sleeve up. Now I'm going to come over here, pull this sleeve up. Now I have bills in both hands though. So now I'm going to come out with my right hand, start to spread the bills out. As soon as I don't have a lot of bills at that, but as soon as I feel about halfway out, I take the ones in front and start. So now I have all those bills coming down.
And does that answer your question, Yumi?
Yeah. Does
Okay,
it?
super. Thank
Karen, did you have a question?
Well, it's more common with the sweater that I'm wearing. I can move my arms. I've got one on each side, and
Right.
let me see if I can get. It you don't have to keep your arms closed.
Right.
No.
I think it's
Mhm.
well disguised.
Yes,
Right. Good.
exactly. Yeah, this is the kind of thing, if you're gonna do this in your show, just make sure, go to the store, gives you a reason to go to Marshall's or whatever and buy a new sweater or a new shirt. The other way is if you just show 1 bill. So now I could just do it 1 bill, pull my sleeves up. And now I'm gonna come, the same thing, these flaps are gonna come right behind this bill. I'm gonna roll everything down, and now I have 1 bill multiplies into 4 or 5.
Henry, you had a question?
Oh, just Bob, the routine like this will have to be your opening. act.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Either that, or if you had these rolled somewhere where you could steal them, and then during your show, if you could just, as you're, putting a prop away or something, you could load them. But it's yeah, you're not going to want them in your sleeve for 10 minutes into your show to do this.
Right.
It'd be nice.
Unless you're doing a show as a T-Rex.
Yeah. Why they were the meanest dinosaurs. They could never scratch their nose.
Yeah.
Any other questions on this one?
All right, we're gonna quick break into a breakout room and give you 2 minutes to try this. So let's break out real quick. Open all rooms. Please join your breakout rooms and try the Bills from Nowhere. Yumi, can you join your breakout room? Okay. Oh, wait, pausing the
Do.
Mhm.
But one of the things that I'm an amateur magician, all right? I'm not real, it's more of a hobbyist, just trying to learn. But one of the things that I found that I really like, when people do things with their sleeves, if they're going to pull them up or whatever, but when they say, I've got nothing up my sleeves, and they're kind of pulling it, it's kind of, I don't know, like off-putting to me. I kind of prefer that if they're doing anything, it just kind of happens as opposed to verbally saying. And I was just wondering from your experience.
No, you're exactly right. That's why I was saying, you don't want to say, look, nothing in my hands,
Yeah.
or people go, I have an ordinary deck of cards. To me, it'd be fun. You should say, I have an unordinary deck of cards, because these cards have magic powers. And then you could go in and do your magic trick. But yeah, definitely for this. So if you're start, and just to talk to people, you can gesture showing your hands empty, and then just pull up your sleeves. They know if you don't have to tell them that they know there's nothing up your sleeves.
Right.
And then come in and do your bills. I usually 90% of the times I perform, I always wear short sleeves, because people, you just hear people, adults are, always like, wow, he doesn't even have sleeves on, and he's doing all that magic stuff.
Right.
My
Yeah,
lady is changing.
I'm sorry. I would say that the nothing up my sleeves comment may be part of your internal monologue. It may be what you want your audience to register, but probably not something you want to say.
Yeah, say it with your body language.
Right.
That's exactly right.
Okay, so we've all had a chance to give it a try. May I please have a volunteer to perform this for us in 2 weeks? Bum, bum, bum. I'm gonna volunteer somebody in a minute.
Okay, I'll do it.
Okay, who? I saw Ron and Dave both volunteer. Who wants it? Ron, did you say?
I'll do it.
Ron volunteers. Dave gets the next one. Okay, excellent. Doesn't even know what he signed up for, but he is in. I like it. Okay, so Bills from Nowhere goes to Ron.
Did you say this is page 223?
I believe so.
Yeah, it's 220. They're all on 223 to 225 that we're working on.
Thank you.
Okay, and so Bob, take it away for our next piece, please.
Okay, so we'll play with our another thing with our bill here. So people wonder how they counterfeit bills so easily now, and when you look at them now, they're all like have different shades of color in them. I don't know if everybody realizes that, but it's kind of strange. If you ever take a bill and just tear a little bit of it, you sometimes can actually pull like the silk threads. Wow, that's a really big thread they put in this one, but you can take those threads right out of the bottom. So that's our favorite friend. And what you're about to learn, my friends, is probably if you only could, if like personally me, if I could only do one trick and only have one thing to use, you could do hundreds and hundreds of effects with your thumb tip. Now,
Hey.
thank you. This is them or it. For when you get these, I have really little hands. I mean, I'm like 150 pounds and skinny. But so the thumb tips fall right off my hand. So I don't know if anybody else got thumb tips in your little package where they didn't fit you. A lot of times when I go to teach ladies magic, that'll happen. You can take these and put them in really hot water, like boiled water in a saucepan. Let them sit there for a minute, take it out and put it on your thumb and then mold it right around your knuckle.
Oh.
It does burn, but it's not going to burn you enough that you're going to be scarred for life with it. And then
I cannot let you give people instructions that will burn them. I don't have that kind of liability insurance.
no, well, I mean, it won't burn. I mean, you use your head when you don't want to keep it boiling for 10 minutes, so it's going to be melting on your thumb. But if you heat it in water, it'll get, especially the plastic ones, get much softer. And when they're soft, you can just form it right around that knuckle of your thumb. Because you want to have a big pocket there.
Don't hurt yourself, people.
No, if you just, whenever I do this, I do it. And then as soon as it goes around your thumb, just put it all in cold water and it'll just shrink wrap it around there. Because on me, they just fall right off. Otherwise, I just can't, I can't put anything in them. I don't know if anybody else had that trouble. You try to put your silk in it and then the thumb just falls off because
this is Ken.
Another option less likely to result in me being sued might be to take some tape, and I would recommend like athletic tape or something, not Scotch tape, and put it inside. Take a little strip and put it inside the thumb tip, and that way when you put your finger in, it's like it'll take up some of the room in there, so that it gives you something for to grab onto, some friction there.
This is Ken. I have what might. Hi, this is Ken. What might sound like a strange question. You're moving your hands quite fast. You say up to the knuckle. Can you tell me how far up? I'm trying to get. This should actually be on, so I can figure out how to get it to fit right.
That's where you should push it in. It should stop right at your knuckle.
At the very beginning of where the knuckle bends?
Very first phalange, yep, right here.
Right there, okay. So right there is where I want to make sure it fits.
Exactly. See, on yours, it looks like it almost fits perfect then.
Sorry.
Because if your finger, I'm going to use my finger for this, but if it goes all the way in, then you can't put anything in there. It's going to come out with it, or it's going to fall off. Now, what Sarah was just talking about, putting tape around there, that may work. I know I like to do thimble work, and any thimbles I buy fall right off my fingers because they're too wide. And I have put tape in thimbles, and I put it in long ways, the lengthwise. So, and I'm thinking maybe that would work too with your thumb tip, because that way you have this whole base of your thumb here that it's going to catch.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and nobody else, it looks like you guys, if nobody else is having problems with it. Now, I'm going to use this one, the plastic one. These are vinyl. I think vinyl thumb tips look a lot better. But like we mentioned in the beginning, these could be green, they could be red. Nobody ever sees them if you do this right. So the worst thing you can do with a thumb tip is this. And this is how you see everybody do it.
Right.
And then they go, look, it's gone. And it's like everybody goes, what he was using his thumb for. So if you're going to do this properly, if I have my fingers together, my hands still look empty, right? I don't want to do this because they're going to see it. But if I go straight ahead, if I grab something and hold it, now my hands are empty. When I use a thumb tip, most of the time, I'll take it off. And if you're familiar with a dye tube, I hold it in my finger palm.
So that's because this is a class for beginners. Let's not use any, let's not make any assumptions.
Okay, yeah, so here, you hold it
That's-
from here. A dye tube is what they use for changing colors to handkerchiefs. But if you just hold it here, so, you know, if you have it in your hand, you stop to talk as you're borrowing something, have somebody look at a bill, let's say, whatever. Now, it's very easy just to come back and put that back on your thumb. But you're right, exactly where you're at is where you want this to be. That way, because a lot of people know thumb tips. Kids all know them. They come in cereal boxes. Anybody that goes to a bar has seen their buddy, you know, vanishing, you know, whatever, a cigarette or whatever into these. So the less you can keep them on your thumb, the better. And you could gesture a lot. Look at, I could gesture all the way up here. You can't see that thumb tip really. You know, you don't. So now when I'm ready to use it, I just put my thumb, now it's back on my thumb. So if you're going to make something disappear with this, you want to load it into your hand. So as you're gesturing, you load it in, come out. Now, as you're putting that handkerchief in it, this is what you want to be able to do. You want to put this in. And now I'm going to use my finger to bring that thumb tip into the back of my hand. So now I can gesture that I'm still sticking the silk into my hand, but it's really out. But now I can take my thumb and put it and get it. Now I can still, you know, give it another couple pokes and now it's gone. Which is way better than like everybody does. So if you have this on your hand as you gesture to show the handkerchief, now you can put it in. Once again, as that goes in, you can let this come out the back of your hand. As you're doing that, you're just going to get it in your thumb. You can still poke it in. It's gone. It's gone. Everybody following that?
No.
Who said no? Karen?
Yeah.
So
I didn't-
so you're here.
Yeah, okay.
Let me go from here. Here. So as I'm doing this, that thumb tip comes out the back of my hand. So when it's in the back of my hand, now my thumb can grab it as I'm still, you know, pushing into the hand. Is that what you're having questions on?
Got it. Yeah, I wasn't seeing where it was going.
Yeah, so as you're pushing this out, it just comes right out the back of your hand. And then you can steal it with your thumb.
Can you
So
show me how you put the very beginning part where it's on your one hand and you transfer it over to the
Yeah,
other?
so as you come out with it, it's on my right thumb. Let me I wish I had something here. That's easier to see probably, maybe not. So here, it's on my thumb, as I'm gesturing, I load it into my hand. So now it's in this finger palm. All right. So at this point, you could, let's say you're picking up the handkerchief. Now you could steal that back. So let's say I have the handkerchief here. I can steal that thumb tip back on my hand. It's behind the handkerchief. Show this hand empty. And now I can go in and do the same thing with the vanish.
So if we take a simple sequence,
Mm-hmm.
Want to, you give
Yeah,
us
I'll tell you, an easy way to do, when you're, to me, if does everybody know beats in music. So if you break everything down to beats, this is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So you start with your silk in your hand. There's 1, 2 is when you're loading it into your hand. 3 is when you're showing the silk. 4 is when you're going to start to put it in. Same thing, once you go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. At 12, as now I'm sticking out the back of my hand, I want to take it back and then wait a while. You're not, once that's on your thumb, you don't have, nobody knows it's there but you. So you can, you're still trying to get it into the hand more. So now you can stop and now it's gone. And it's done. You can come up here, is easy if you put it behind your hand. Another thing, if you're going to be doing this, if you have a magic wand per se, so it's in the hand. You're still doing, say, wait, if I use my magic wand, it disappears. Now that magic wand's going to cover that thumb tip up a whole lot now.
Yep, that's always a great idea. The magic
Right.
wand gives you a great excuse to keep your hand, your hand closed, hidden.
Yes. So with the bill, you can start with this in the thumb tip. And when you have it in the thumb tip, you have to make sure a corner of that goes in last, because you want to be able to have that corner right on the edge of that thumb. See how it's just sticking out a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
That way it'll pull out easy. You're not digging for it. So now you can show your dollar bill. $20 bills are great because they have a lot of yellow in them. If the new yellow, the new 20s. So you're talking, they put all these different colors in these bills now. And it's because they used to just use green silk in them. Now they have all different color silk. And if you actually, reach into a bill, sometimes if you just tear the edge, you can see it. See, there's a little piece of silk there. And then now you keep on pulling it out. So now I'm showing this, that thumb tip is still in the bill, of course. So now as I put my thumb in there, I can let this unravel. And once again, the bill's over here, the thumb tip is behind the silk. So when you're doing anything with a thumb, it should always be behind something in my book. It's either that if it's not going to be behind something, then you should be standing to the audience this way, so they never see that thumb. Once you take it out of the bill, you can roll that right back inside and say, I don't want to make this. I got to be able to, don't want to get caught by the Federal Reserve for defacing money. So let me just get that back in there. And now go back to where we started.
Okay. Fantastic.
Yeah, I'll tell you, there's, I'm sure outside of card tricks, there's probably more tricks with thumb tips or with, than you can ever imagine. But
It's a real utility item. It's a tool
Yeah.
for doing just about anything.
Yes.
So let's are we ready to break out? Do we want to do this all together? Or are we ready to break out into the breakout rooms and give it a try?
I think I need to see it once more.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this one all together.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to, that'd be
We'll
great.
go together. So everybody, we're going to start. Are we going to? How do you want us to start with the? We're going to do.
Yeah, so let's just do it with the thumb tip.
Okay. So thumbs on.
Is everybody here right-handed?
No, Eric is left-handed.
All right, so I'm left-handed, but I'm going to do this with my left hand because I think from video, then it's going to look like it's my right hand. Maybe it'll be easier. So you have this on your thumb, empty hand. You're going to load the thumb tip. Now, as you begin to stick this into your fist, So we're doing that. You want to be able to have it come out the back. And as you're, poking that in, it's gone. And there it is. I like the fact, I think they gave everybody yellow. Yellow to me is the best color to put in a thumb tip.
Everybody has different colors.
Oh, do they? Oh, okay. But if you do this with silks, you should use yellow because it blends in with the thumb tip. A dark thumb tip or silk, you'll see through it sometimes. Light green. So everybody see where we're going?
The color that I sent you is perfect for you.
Yes.
Thank you, Bob.
She won the Oscar for best design of clothing thing for what was that movie? Something about Gone with the Wind or something there. So everybody have this. I can't see everybody, but for the ones that I can, if we want to start,
So
you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and once it's in, you're gonna. When you're ready to start taking out, it's the same thing. 1, 2, 3. They'll still fall. That one just fell off on the thing. And I'll tell you, this is going to happen to you people. You're going to do this in a show and your thumb tip's going to fall off and land on the floor. It's happened to me probably 100 times in 30 years. And it's a funny thing because nobody sees what's inside of it. And you go like, oh, man, that must have been in my sleeve from a show from last week. And then you just pick it up and go right. You can even act like you're putting it away and load it back on your thumb and finish the trick. But it's so don't let it throw you off when that happens. So once it's in your hand, now the sending, when you're ready to do the steal, break it down in beats again. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and now it's gone.
Okay, then we go to grab our bill.
Yep. Now you grab your bill, roll this, and as you roll that bill, just roll that thumb tip right inside of it. And now you can produce it, or you can use it, put it back inside. And this is the only time you're going to use your thumb in something like that, but now you have to because that takes it out of the bill.
And I like the action here. I'm just gonna the spotlight. I like the action here because looking at you are committing the cardinal sin of sticking your thumb into it, but it's not an unnatural motion here.
Right.
You put your thumb in, you grab the tab, and then you just run your thumb up, and that's how you do it. I mean, it's that you're showing the skill. And so it's not an unnatural motion in that context. The other thing that I want to suggest, if I may, is when Bob was talking about beats, and I would say that it's 1 to show you the silk, and then 2 that putting of the thumb into the hand is not 2. That's the offbeat. That's not
exactly. Yes.
So it's 1, 2, because then you have a purpose to put your hands together and you're showing, and that's the beat. And then 3 is when you're going to start to go in. Does that make sense?
Yes. Yeah. All sleight of hand should be done on the offbeat between the beats. You're right.
We do the dirty work off the beat. So, all right. So why don't we break out into our breakout rooms and give it a try, and then we'll come back. We have one more piece to learn today.
Yeah.
Do 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 do. Why do we have so many unassigned people? Sign 2, 3. Okay. All right. And Yumi, you're now assigned as well. Good, good, good.
Oh, hello, Sarah.
And as everybody returns,
They brought us back. Here we go.
yes, welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back.
Any questions now that you've had a chance to try it and play with it and explore?
Yes,
Yes, who's that?
Ron.
Ron. Okay,
Yes.
Ron.
One of the things that Henry and I were talking about is that the difficulty of moving the thumb tip from the position where you hold it in your hand down to the side.
Your fingers doing it.
Right, your fingers pushing it down. For me, that complicates the move. And what I had tried this before, and when I would put the silk back in, I would still use my thumb, but I would maintain the illusion that I was pushing down the silk and then opening it up and showing the hands empty. It just seemed one less move that I had to make.
You are correct. You are correct. I mean, and that's fine to do it that way. It's just that anybody that knows what a thumb tip is, they're waiting for your thumb to go in. As soon as you do that, they know you used the thumb tip. Where if you didn't, it's fine.
Yeah.
I would say, Ron, I'm sorry, go ahead, finish, Ron. I'm sorry.
Well, if that's the case and they're aware that you're using a thumb tip to make a silk disappear, I don't care what finger you stick in there. That's a thumb tip making it disappear.
Well, Ron, I would. I mean, there are better ways and more sophisticated ways and other ways to do things. I would say that, you know, this action is a real tell.
It's a giveaway.
It's a real giveaway.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I would say that as a method, that's probably it is a serviceable method. It is a functional method, but I'd say that it's a pretty weak method. Because it brings attention to, you know, this is not, you know, it's very functional. But when we put something in our finger, we don't go finger, 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 thumb, finger, finger, finger. It's a weird action to start off with. So if you use, you know, you're pushing it into the thumb tip. I'm going to give you the back view again. You push it into the thumb tip and you get your finger right on the edge. And you can do the same kind of pushing action and it rotates.
Okay.
And then you do your next push and the thumb goes in and then can come straight back up. And your thumb is once, you know, then the thumb steals, and this is not something I do. So, and then the thumb is again hidden behind the hand. So you're still fairly clean. And you haven't done the dreaded move.
The move.
Okay.
Would it look better to use various fingers like your index, your middle,
right,
ring finger, and then finally end up with the thumb?
I think that's a technique that some people use. I think that it is a technique that says, look here, I'm using all my fingers, but it is still not a natural way to do the job. If you are, and the way that I always think about it is, if I'm gonna put this handkerchief into my fist and with no thumb tip, no hanky panky, how am I gonna do it? I'm sticking it in. You know, maybe I'd use one extra finger, but I'm not doing the
right.
So how would I do it if I wasn't doing a move? You know, how would a normal human being perform this action? And so I try it in a mirror without the move. And then I say, okay, that's what it looks like when a normal human being does this. How can I make doing the move work and look the same?
Sarah, I have a question.
Okay, hang on one second. Where are you? Wave at me. There we go. Thank you.
Just one question for you and Bob.
Yeah.
Have you ever done where you've split the nail part and the thumb tip and taken the silk out the front? That's for you and Bob to answer. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's called an eclipse tip.
J. Scott Berry.
Yep.
Yeah, J. Scott Berry, exactly. Yeah, and that I use those all the time. I was talking about a dye tube. That's his version of a dye tube, basically. And it's just instead of having a regular dye tube, when you're done, it's still hidden in your hand.
Right.
With J's, you can put it back on your thumb. But they're excellent. They're great tools.
Do you find that they're better hidden for what you're doing than using the finger? Because that way, if the tip is on, okay, your thumb, you can actually have the thumb tip and you just point the silk right out of your hand, right? At that point, from the nail.
No, his thumb tip is. Let's say I had a red thumb tip, a red silk in my thumb tip. I could put a yellow one in here, and then I could pull a red one out as I'm putting the yellow one. So it's a color. That's for a color change.
Color change.
It's not for a production. I mean, if I load this in my hands here, I can reach in and produce that anywhere I want. And then
I suppose you could. I think what he's referring to is if you made the handkerchief disappear, and then so now I'm in this position with. I'm gonna put it in my hand.
Yeah, and then
now I'm in this position instead of having to take the thumb tip off and then pull the silk out again, or move the thumb tip into some other into the bill or something. I could simply hold my hand like this and using the alternate exit pull the silk out of my hands this way. That's what you're referring to?
Yes.
Yes,
I'm familiar with J. Scott Berry.
One could do that.
Yeah, I would think it'd be hard to do, but you
Maybe.
could. Yeah. Rocco just came out with the ones that has a little, you open it up and it produces a silk. I don't know if anybody's seen those. They're called flip tips.
I haven't
And
seen that.
it's the same thing. He took a thumb tip and the whole top half is hinged.
Okay.
So you have a little, it's half the size of this silk. So it's probably this big, but so now you can show your hands empty and then you just flip it and a little silk flops out of the air. You can catch it and then load it back on your thumb tip.
Cool.
You can buy this today for this at $29.95 on Rocco's website.
Actually, what you got me thinking about, I'm sorry, go ahead.
You mentioned a real good point, and not just for thumb tips. When you do a magic trick, and before you even use the thumb tip, just like you said, if you were doing this to make it disappear, you want to be able to do this over and over again, so that you build up the muscle memory in your brain, so you know just what is happening. So now, when you do it with the thumb tip, it's exactly the same move. If you're going to vanish, you're going to vanish a coin. Put the coin in your hand over and over again until your brain builds up the memory of that's my hand is closed with the coin in it. Then you can do the disappearing part, but you want to practice something, actually doing it. So you learn, hey, that's what happens in my hand.
Bob, I'm so sorry. Bob, this is fantastic. And this is all really important, good stuff. But I know that you have an appointment.
I do, and I just see it. We have 8 minutes.
And we are running short on time. So do we have time to do the torn and restored bill, or should we?
No, we can do it. I'll just explain it. And you guys, we won't be able to break into session rooms. But if you
perform it and explain it, then we'll okay.
Yeah. If you look in the book too, he really he gives you a lot of explanations. But here we have $1. And somebody was asking me if I could do a coin trick instead of a bill trick. So I took the $1 and said, look, now the $1 is 2 halves. All right, he had the same reaction I got. Say, so hold on, I'll make it better. Now the $1 is 4 quarters. All right, if you're not gonna laugh, I'm gonna do it, I can go all the way to 100 pieces and now it's 100 pennies. But hold on, maybe just let me do some magic instead. It's been sitting here all night. Perfect. We'll just start where we began.
Right.
Dollar bill. So once again, they use this with the dollar. You can use this for anything. That's why if you use this with piece of paper, you can have happy birthday. If you do birthday parties and have it say birthday happy, tear it up. It's, oh, I made a mistake. Open it up again. It says happy birthday. David Ginn has tons of magic tricks with that same move. Just to show you how this is set up, you have a duplicate bill and it's accordion pleated and glued on the back of your bill.
Hang on, can you show that a little closer? It's
Yeah.
a little hard to see with the lighting
Yeah.
on the Zoom.
Yeah, so can you see how that is? So basically,
Okay, so it's glued in the middle and then the ends are folded on top.
right.
Okay.
We'll make one, but I'm going to show you how to do this I'm just going to do it again so you can see the handling of it. But if
Okay.
you're doing this with a real bill, which is fine, but you're going to lose $1 every time you do it. Although you could tape it back together and bring it to the bank, they will take it. So when you tear this, you're always going to put the torn piece in front. You can tear it again.
Can you show us the back?
Yeah, the back is over here. So that's this piece with the extra pieces is always facing me.
Okay.
So now we're here. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm going to do it towards you. I want to fold all this paper up. And these are the torn pieces. And you want to tear everything, fold everything up behind the piece that's real. So from my side, I'm doing this. Once I can see that it's folded right, I can start to open everything up again. And I can reveal, ooh, look at that time, it turned into a $100 bill. Thank you. That's that $99 I owe you, Sarah. But don't play poker with this lady. Which is nice. That's right. So you can change it from one to anything. So anybody bring their bills with them?
So
Or
yes, we all
paper, you
have,
have slips of paper?
we all have paper and
Okay.
play money and so on.
You're gonna think that you should put this as close to the edge as you can, but it doesn't open up right when you do that. And when you look in the book, he actually shows you, you really want to put it about here. Like on the 20, on a dollar bill, you're gonna put it like where the pyramid is. Or the eagle, depending on which, like I'm left-handed for this, so it's easier for me to hold the gimmick piece on my left hand. If it's easier for you to hold the paper part in your right hand, you'd put it over the eagle. So everybody have their bills or their paper?
Yes, I think, let's put it this way. Who here doesn't have, who here doesn't have your bills or paper? Wave your hand. Okay, we're all set.
We're all ready?
Yep.
All right, so to get this set, you want to fold this in half.
This being the actual bill.
Fold the actual bill, yes.
This is the bill. This is what we're using paper bill. We're using the fake bills right now. We're
Right.
not using actual.
Yeah, no,
money.
if you want to tear up your real money, that's fine, but
We're using play money right now, and
Yeah.
you're
Okay.
folding it.
Yeah, you're gonna
one we're
fold it in
folding up
half.
is the one
The
that you are
big-
eventually going to produce restored.
right, so we have to fold this like an accordion style, but there's a certain madness to this. So once it's folded in half, you're gonna take the part with the one here or the edge and fold it back again. And you want to fold it so it's this way. Okay, then you can fold it up again. So now it's, you're starting to do that accordion pleat, right? Then you want to take this part and fold it up to George's head. And you'll see why when you glue this, you want to make sure that the part's going to open up. If you glue this part of the bill to the, it's not going to open. So that's actually has 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, yeah, 4 folds on it, the way it is. And now you're going to do the same thing on the other side. So fold it up towards George. Come back. Hold it. So now you have it all accordion folded. Good.
No, I did it the opposite way.
You did, well, if you folded it, so you're, so how do you do it? What's the opposite?
Well, I had it accordion pleated, but when it was all folded up, I had the dollar bill that I wanted to show on the outside, and it has to be on the inside. So you can
Exactly. So when you, this is the thing now, when you have this, once that's folded, you have to align this now so that this piece folds back like here. Because when you want to be able to open this up when it's folded. So you accordion pleat, you take this side on the end, and it has to come over like that. So everything's full, like here, everything's folded right to left, but that last piece has to get folded around everything. Because that way, when it's glued, when this is the part that's going to be glued. So when I'm opening the bill up, I can open it up.
Okay, so if can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got this pleated so that it's, and I've got a right side and a wrong side. So I'm going to refer to the right side and the wrong side. So it's pleated so that at every fold, it's right side in.
Yes.
And
until
then,
you get to this, right?
and then I've got the last two sections here, and I'm going to go around in front and like wrap it all together.
Yeah, and then fold that
And
side
then
one more time.
And then the last tab goes back.
Perfect.
Okay, does that make sense to everybody?
Because you
So
want to
if
be able to open this up.
From one section, from one side to the other, you take, and you can fold it, fold it first so that you have creases. So you, and then it goes right side in, and then continue accordion pleating until you've got 2 sections left, and then wrap around and back.
And back. Yep.
Origami expert, I am not.
Everybody follow this?
Okay, raise your hand if we need to go over this some more or explain it differently or better.
The first time you glue it and realize you glued it wrong, it'll like the light bulb will go.
All become clear.
Oh, yeah. I'm supposed to do it the other way.
Okay, so now I have a packet that looks like this.
Yeah, so now once this is here, you have your other bill, and we have glue stick. Something, it's like where the either the eagle or the pyramid, you want to just put a little dab of rubber cement or your glue. You want to fold this in on itself. So now you had it like this, and you're going to fold it in. You want to look to make sure that it's going to open up right side up too.
Now, when I've got one in my little folded packet,
Mm-hmm.
I have a right side, which is the edge, and I have a wrong side.
Right.
And I want to fold
The edge in.
the edge, the right side edge in the middle of the packet. So
Right.
when I'm left, I've got the wrong side.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I'm going to glue. And then the right side is going to unfold. Does
Perfect.
that make sense?
Everybody follow that?
So here's my little accordion fold packet. I've got a right side and a wrong side. This is the part that I want to glue, the wrong side. So I'm just going to grip it here and show you the right side. So I'm going to glue this section here, the wrong side.
Yeah, because you want to be able to open that
shows,
bill up.
that shows the right side is going to get folded in.
So see how that should look? If you're doing this with solid color paper, it doesn't really matter. But if you're doing it with the bill, or you're going to do happy birthday, happy new year, and write somebody's name, whatever. Perfect. Yeah.
There we go. The X is where I'm going to glue. Here's the right side, the wrong side. Glue goes here.
Mm-hmm. So when it's done, you have a little packet there.
My glue.
Yeah.
And it goes where on this?
You want to put it probably a 1/2 inch in. So on a regular dollar, if you're doing this with fake money, you're going to either put it on the eagle or the pyramid, depending on what hand you are.
But it would be in the middle of the bill. So with equal amounts, equidistant from the top and bottom, right?
Yes, yeah, equal distance. Yeah, so it's
And
in the middle.
and about
About a 1/2 inch in, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one accordion pleat in.
A good way to look at it, yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, yeah,
All right.
so it's right here.
So then, let's see.
Yeah, then we're done.
Now, so we show the bill.
You show the bill, and if you're doing this with the real bill, you can turn your hand and show it on both sides. Even, with this. Now you're going to fold it. You always fold it back towards you the first time. So now, instead of folding it this way, now you're going to fold it towards you. Crease that real good. And then you're going to tear the first half down. And you're going to put the piece that you tore in front.
So that your little packet is always closest to you.
Is always towards me, yes. So now once this is here, now see now where that's located, now you can fold this now again, right up to the fold and tear it. Now you have 4 pieces. Now what's nice with 4 pieces, you could actually put a piece behind this. Now I can show both sides, right? Because I put a loose piece behind my folded piece. I mean, it's the kind of thing, don't run when nobody's chasing you, but if people are real close, if you're doing this right for like 1 or 2 people, it probably wouldn't hurt to be able to come up and you show both sides. Once you're at this position.
Excuse me. Now I have messed up because I put my packet too close to the middle. So I couldn't tear it in the middle because that would put it in the middle of my packet. So I just tore off a little bit off.
That's fine. That's fine. So if you did that, then you could, the same thing, you're not going to ever go wrong with this. Just fold the other side now and tear that off.
So the preparation tip is that when you're gluing it in, you put it on the quarter, close to the edge is fine, but you want it on the left hand quarter of the bill.
Perfect.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now once you have that little packet of pieces, you're just going to fold 1/2 forward, the other half forward. And now you can see your pieces that are the restore package. So if you want to blow, you want to get your magic wand, now you can start opening everything up. And you have this torn packet here. So that's just going to cover up with your fingers. This is why you want to have that nice accordion pleat, because now I can open up one side and see the whole thing just opens up.
And
once that's open, same thing, I could turn around the back, show everybody both sides of the bill. And
So I turn it around and I put the packet of loose paper under my hand. So,
yeah.
and then I can turn it back, passing the packet of loose paper, clipping it under my thumb again.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So you'll find the right place to put that little packet of paper. I glued mine much too deep, and that was my mistake.
On this one, you're probably about a half an inch in, half an inch or less. You don't want to come all the way to the edge, because if you come to the edge, they'll see that. You can't hide that torn pieces because it's right to the edge. So you're better to be able to show this bill around.
Right, but
Like
you
that.
want it on that in the
I'm on
middle
Zoom,
of
so I
that
can't go look.
last quarter of the bill. Okay. So we don't have time to break into to make more and break into breakout rooms and try it. But if anybody has any questions or wants anything additionally illustrated, now would be a really good time. No questions. Okay.
Anybody have
What
questions?
page in the book is this in?
This is on page 225.
Yeah, it's the very towards the end. All
Right.
these are
Start
between
bill.
223 and 225.
Right.
Yeah, and he actually gives it this. It's illustrated real nice, showing that accordion fold and the glue bar. And actually, once you get good at this, you don't really need to glue it. So you could do this if you have your little friend the thumb tip. You could ditch those pieces in the thumb tip. And if you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. So-
And may I have a volunteer to perform this for us in 2 weeks? I am gonna.
I'm doing the last one, right? The thumb tip. This is Dave.
Dave, yes, you are doing. You're doing Silk from Bill.
Okay.
Let's see.
How about me? I'll do it.
Ooh, thank you. Yes, I will take that. Who said that?
Jackie.
Jackie.
All right.
Fantastic. Jackie, and this, okay, perfect. This is, you haven't volunteered yet, so that's great. And you are doing Torn and Restored Bill.
You can do this either way. Do this. You could fold it and have it all fall apart without tearing it, which is kind of freaky.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much. I wanna make sure that we let Bob go, because he did tell me beforehand that he has another fabulous engagement.
Engagement. It was nice to meet everybody.
Thank you so much, Bob. We really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Bob.
Well done.
Thanks a lot, Sarah.
What's Bob's website?
Bob, what's your website?
Our website it's zap-entertainment.com, but that's more of our my wife and I. She's an event planner, so that's our event planning. You could just find me on Facebook on Bob Durante.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Hey, nice to meet you guys. Keep practicing.
Sorry. There you are, Bob Durante on Facebook.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thanks.
All right, thank you so much, Bob. I really appreciate it. You're fantastic.
Nice to meet everybody.
This is why I love this, because even I always get to learn new things.
Hey, she's a great teacher. Give her some applause. Yes.
Oh, thank you.
Put up with you guys for 4 weeks.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate that. Although they're a delight and a pleasure.
It is. It's very good. You know, I was so happy because I thought we were going to do this with all little kids the first time, so it was nice to see adults.
Next
All right.
time we'll do
Bye-bye.
kids. Take care. Bye, Bob.
Bye.
Okay, so let's see, remove the spotlight so we can all see each other. Any thoughts, questions? There was one topic that I wanted to discuss, but let's do questions first. Any questions about the material today? Okay, well, you'll practice, you'll learn, you'll try it out. I will look forward, as I always do, to seeing what you come up with for next session, which will be 2 weeks from today, on
The 9th, April 9th.
April 9. Thank you so much. Yes, April 9, and it is going to be on rope magic. Some of you have commented to me on the excessive amount of rope included in your course pack. I decided to include a large amount of rope because I did not want you to feel inhibited by not having enough rope inhibited to cut it. Cut it, use it, try it, play with it. I did not want you to feel like you couldn't practice more, or you couldn't try something because you weren't going to have enough rope left, or you only wanted to work with a little piece instead of a big piece because you wanted to conserve on rope. Yes, I got you a lot of rope. It is also, it's really nice rope. And so I haven't played with it that much yet, but our special instructor next time has been playing with it, and he tells me that you should please make sure to have that you need good sharp scissors in order to cut that rope. So please make sure that you have some good sharp scissors handy. Little kid scissors will not get the job done, and it'll be an exercise in frustration and possibly injury. So good sharp scissors, and please be careful with it when you're cutting the rope. Owen has what appear to be excellent scissors. Thank you for the demonstrative, Owen. Good job. And in fact, I will tease for you. And normally I wouldn't do this because I love all of the instructors from the Department of Resorcery. But I got to give our next instructor, and I don't think that any of the other assistant professors would begrudge me for having a favorite. The next instructor is my favorite. And you will see why 2 weeks from today. But yes, he is my favorite. One thing, fabric scissors. Yes, Julie, that would definitely get it done. Yes, absolutely. Sharp and rope, technically a fabric, so you're not breaking the no fabric scissors touch anything else ever rule. So one thing that we saw a little bit of today, and Karen actually brought this up to me earlier and offline, and she suggested that we talk about it a little bit, and I agree with her and hope that you find this topic interesting and useful to discuss. That she thought about the patter, the story that Ryan told 2 weeks ago, doing the coin matrix, the coin assembly. And Yumi made the same decision. I'm sorry. Wait, no, it wasn't. Yumi did the other one.
Karen?
Sorry, yeah. I beg your pardon?
Karen, right? Made the change.
Well, Karen did, and Jackie and
the woman who did the
Valerie did as well. Both of you very, very sort of deliberately mentioned having made different choices than Ryan did when he performed his. I mean, Yumi, yours was different as well. It was I don't think you talked about making the specific choice, but that when Ryan performed, he told a particular story, and you chose to tell a different story and to present it differently than he did. And that's great. That's a great choice. The tradition, okay, bye Dave, thank you so much. The tradition in the magic community is that if somebody publishes or writes up a routine in a book, in a magazine, and you buy the book or magazine, or the prop from a magic shop, and the instructions come with it along with the video, and they give a presentation for it, the tradition in the magic community is that the license to perform that routine as it's written comes with the book or the prop or whatever it is. And that's generally how we proceed. And you are therefore allowed to do the routine exactly as the person did it, wrote it, using that script. You do not, however, have to. And the choice to not do that and to make some different choices about the story that you're going to tell or the character that you're going to play can lead you to create some really interesting and very personal work. If I do a routine exactly as somebody else wrote it, it may be good, it may be great. I probably can't do it as well as they did it. It's a great starting point for me because they've made all those choices for a reason, and they tell a joke at this time because it's a great way to distract my audience from the fact that I'm doing something sneaky over here. So if I tell a joke over here, everybody sort of relaxes and laughs, and then I can do the dirty work. So they've thought all this stuff out, and it's really good to learn from what they've done. You may want to make some new choices because maybe that script doesn't suit your personality or your character, and puns are not the way that you want to go. And if puns are not the way that you want to go, I respect that as a choice. I don't really understand it, but that's a choice that you can make. If you're not a person who does that and or not comfortable with that, then that's fine. So as we do this, you get to see a lot of different teachers and a lot of different styles of performing. That's something for you to think about. We have the book that has instructions and presentations. We have all of the teachers who give you instructions and will perform the pieces for you. And you have that option to start with the presentation that they give you, and I guess not really and to then decide if you want to go with that presentation and perform it that way, or if you want to make it your own and add your personality or your style to it, or something of yourself. Any thoughts about that?
So
yeah, John, because he put a hand up and I want to reward that behavior.
Okay, thanks. I think the personalization of a magic routine is the thing that makes magic most interesting. You know, I'm more of a hobbyist, a magic enthusiast, and I've seen some of the greatest magicians in the world and then just, you know, regular people. And ultimately, most people are doing the same tricks, but it's how they make it their own and put in their own story or their own little thing about, you know, something personal about it that makes it the most interesting. Because and that's it, because, you know, I look and see, and, you know, okay, that's this trick. I've seen people doing it, but they make it their own, however they do it, with music or, you know, whatever way with the story, they make it their own. That's what really makes it.
Yeah.
You know, the trick is the trick, you know, but it's the thing, everything that goes around the trick that really makes it. And the more personal it is, you know, the better it is, really.
It takes it to another level. It adds something else. It takes it from being, you know, a stunt to being a performance, to being art, to being theater. Yeah. Julie, oh, I love it. It's so, oops.
Okay, this might sound a bit odd. and I've had to have,
we're magicians. Odd is the price of beginning.
Okay, well, there you go then. Okay, so every week I hang with this group of magicians on Zoom. They consider themselves to be bizarre magicians, and that's not necessarily relevant, but I've been bending their ear about the stuff I'm learning in this class. And like, I don't know why this is, but like, for some reason, like, you know, I understand the mechanics of what we're doing, and sometimes I'm decent at it and sometimes I need work. But like, the thing that I find when I'm practicing is if the pattern isn't me, it's almost like the whole thing does not compute at all. And
yeah.
And I kind of feel like I'm reinventing the wheel, like even just to practice. And I found that looking at like going on YouTube, not just to try to see how other people teach a particular thing, but also to hear what they're saying is helping me. And also just trying to get suggestions from them about what I could be saying, even if it's not what I ultimately decide to do, is helping me some. And I feel like I'm a rank beginner. Before this class, I basically knew nothing. Except for one or two tricks. Like one of them was reasonably effective and had drunk people accusing me of witchcraft, but whatever. I thought that was a major success. If you're angry with me and calling me a witch, that's good.
Yeah.
So that's just mainly my comment, which is like, I feel like my learning curve is probably a lot slower than a lot of people here. And that's part of the problem. That's part of what I'm having issues with, but maybe it's not a bad issue in the long run.
Well, we all start at different places. And so, wherever you're coming from, wherever you're starting from, we're all learning, and we're all here for the same reasons. And there are people in the room who have a little bit more knowledge, and people who are really just starting. And that's all fine. And that's all great. And we are here to learn together. And there is, so please do not feel inhibited by that at all. Our purpose is to come together and to learn. And we're all, so there's nobody here who's, I'm going to, far beyond. I mean, I'm learning in this. I love it. So as to the presentation stuff, if you have a particular taste or a particular style, fan freaking tastic, and I look forward to seeing what you do with it. And there is nothing that we're doing that cannot be made, bizarre. Or whatever it is, you're going to put your own spin on it. You're going to tell your own story. And so, for those of you who don't, for those of us who don't know, what is bizarre magic? Julie, can you work with them? You want to tell us?
Okay, so the way they're telling me, because again, they're from a generation where they actually knew some of the founders, but the big daddy of it has passed on, Eugene Berger. But I guess originally it was a lot more would evoke the occult or the supernatural. But now they're telling me that a lot more of it is storytelling. So there's going to be a lot more storytelling and a lot less emphasis on the actual stuff that they're doing, but still it needs to sort of flow seamlessly into whatever effect you're actually doing. There's going to be a lot of storytelling involved.
Right.
So, I mean, some of them are actually running fake seances. I mean, I'll just say that straight out, but I don't know if that's my interest, but it sure is interesting.
I mean, they're kind of, I think of it as having two branches, and one branch is sort of bizarre in the sense that it's super intense and weird and kind of freaky and scary.
And some of it might be a little bloody or
I mean, I do needle through arm, which is kind of on the bizarre spectrum there. It's anytime you're causing injury or there's blood involved, you're getting into the bizarre magic area. I know a guy who produces scorpions and wasps and stuff, and that's certainly on the bizarre magic spectrum. The other is, it doesn't necessarily have to be intense and frightening, but storytelling and kind of adding meaning to what you're doing, that you're not just making a silk disappear. The silk represents something, you're telling a story, and there's something more happening. And so I've never poked around on the internet looking for it, but yes, Eugene Berger, the archetype, check it out, see if you can find some of this stuff on YouTube. Amazing,
It's
amazing.
cost a bazillion dollars. So where do I even start? But anyway, that's
And a
neither here nor
wonderful
there.
person, and a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Yumi, is it related? Yumi Henry, is it related to this discussion, or is it a question to follow?
For me?
Yes, either of you.
No, since we're talking about scripting and storytelling, if you don't mind me saying it, I watch your cups and balls routine on YouTube, and I thought it was so original. You had with a Shakespeare theme, right? Yeah, and so I would like to recommend to the rest of the class, if you want to watch a very original, unique scripting of a very common common routine with cups and balls. You take a look at Sarah's routine, cups and ball routine, using a Shakespeare theme. Did you create that by yourself? Nope.
I mean, in the same note, does anybody create anything? I stood on the shoulders of giants. I took for those of you who haven't seen it, I do a cups and balls routine, and I tell stories from Shakespeare's plays as I perform it, and it illustrates, it narrates the cups and ball, the cups. Let me start that sentence again. The balls are actors performing scenes from Shakespeare. And so the stories, as I tell the stories, the actors go from place to place and the plot unfolds. The routine itself is largely based on a routine that's out there and published. And so I learned that routine, and then I customized it and added pieces from a variety of different places, and got input from a bunch of different magicians, and over the course of years have showed that to people and gotten feedback and added little things and changed things and so on. So did I create it on on one level? Absolutely. On another level, absolutely not.
You seem to have it perfectly scripted, just as the routine ended, your story ended, just it took a lot of work, I think.
Yes, it did. That is 100% true. And thank you so much. And Henry, your check will be in the mail.
So my question is kind of related. You started the whole thing saying, if you pay for it, you have the rights to use the script and whatnot. So like for the class like this class is free, but we paid membership. So if like hypothetically, if I wanted to copy Valerie's script, can I write it? And do I have permission to use Valerie's script? I can't speak French, but if I practice, or just as a hypothetical, or the things that you put out there. And that's my first question. The second question is, because we didn't pay for this class, we paid membership and it's free. And then the other question I had was something like your performance on YouTube. I suppose some of the YouTube might have fine print that says copyrighted, blah, blah, blah. I haven't looked, but if it doesn't, is that we have the rights to use anything put out in the world like that, or unless it specifically says you can't?
Okay, really good questions. I'm so glad that you asked that, and let me dig into that a little bit. As soon as I paste the link was requested in the chat. That is the link to my cups and balls. Okay, so the short version is, so if you see a performance.
Today, I am going to show you what
is that me or somebody else's? Oh, no, that's somebody. Okay, there we go. Watch it later, okay? Okay. If somebody is teaching you something, then you can usually, that's usually the signal that it's okay. If you've purchased the class, if you've purchased the book, if you've purchased the video download. If you are watching a performance, that is not the time to copy somebody's work. You may not shop somebody's show. So if somebody performs a piece here that they're not teaching, that's their routine. That's their presentation. Now you can have a conversation with them. Oh, that was really great. Can I use that idea? Can I use that script? And you live in California, I live in Vermont, and so we're not doing it for the same audience. Can I use that routine? That's brilliant. Maybe they'll say okay. Maybe they'll say no. And if they say no, you take it gracefully.
Well, so just like you did, you weren't, I don't know, I guess you were performing, or were you teaching us about with that Princess and the Dragon thing? I'm just throwing it out there.
Right. Yes. I was
something. I know you were kind of teasing, but then if somebody seriously wanted to use something like that, without you have to ask permission, or is that for you? Were you teaching us? Therefore, it's kind of like
no, that's fair. I mean, that's okay. So that's a let me think about that for a second, because I was kind of goofing off, but I was giving a hypothetical. And so if I'm performing it, I would say in this context, if you want to use, I would say I want to see all of you do Princess and the Dragon. Take the idea, see what you want to do with it. It was just a kind of an off-the-cuff concept, and it's fair game. If you see my cups and balls and you say that's really cool, and I want to do the cups and balls accompanied by Shakespeare's plays, I would feel really bad about that. And so I would say that that's probably not a great idea. I don't own the idea of cups and balls. I don't own the idea of Shakespeare. So the idea of putting, I can't say that while I can't say that I own the concept of putting them together, I would say that the idea of somebody taking that and doing my routine and copying it would make me feel really bad.
So do you put that in the fine print of your YouTube presentation as this is copyrighted performance kind of thing?
All right, now we're into the law section as opposed to the ethics section. Okay, so when you want to talk about copyright, the minute you fix something in a tangible medium of expression. So let's say, what does that mean? If I write it down on a piece of paper, this is fixed in a tangible medium of expression. If I write it on Word on my computer, if I videotape it, whatever it is, the minute it is fixed, I have a copyright on it. I don't have to register in order to have copyrights. Now I can register it, and that gives me some additional rights, but so everything that I've posted to YouTube, I have a copyright on my performance, on that video. If somebody were to imitate that precise performance, watch it and then say, oh, I want to do that, I'm gonna learn that routine and learn that script and do it, I would say that you're probably a little crazy. But that would I would have a pretty strong argument that you're infringing on my copyright, because you're doing my literal script and my literal moves that I have fixed. If you want to take the idea of doing the cups and balls to storytelling and do oh my gosh, another idea that I played with a long time ago for that was like fairy tales, nursery rhymes or fairy tales or something, and do, okay, well, I want to do storytelling in the cups and balls, so let's do it a different way. That now we're getting into a place where you're making some different choices, and you're taking part of the idea of telling stories in the cups and balls, and then you're taking it in your own direction. And theoretically, once you've done all that work and come up with your own stories and figured out your own routine, okay, you're using the same idea as I am of combining storytelling and the cups and balls. But you've put a lot of work into it. You've made your own choices. You've made some other decisions. It's going to look very different. It's going to feel very different. And that's really going to be yours.
So in other words, consideration doesn't necessarily need to be given. Like I said, you started with, if you pay for something and they teach it to you, then for sure you can use it because you paid for the rights to use it.
Yep.
And like a lot of things we're learning in this class, I guess we technically paid for it because we bought the book, right?
Well, okay, so buying the book gives you the rights to do the stuff that's in the book. If you decide that you really want to do the story that, one of the stories that Ryan told, or the thumb tip bit isn't, that's not in the book. So if you want to do, that, then that's separate. However, I would say in this context, look, we're all here to teach you stuff. And we're teaching you stuff with the goal and the idea and the plan that you then do it. So we're teaching you stuff because we want you to do it. The stuff that's on my YouTube channel, that's just my performance, is not, for you to play with and take. Make sense?
Yes, a little complicated, but yes, it does make sense. Just because you don't have a C with a circle around it doesn't mean that it's not copyrighted. Just
exactly. The law changed.
And you put it out there
a long time ago on that. Yeah, the C with the copyright is no longer required to be copyrighted. So the videos, so for example, the videos of this class, I've recorded it. So there's a copyright. There are rights that attach to it. So if somebody were to download this and then try and put all the classes on a DVD and sell them as Magic for Beginners, I'd have a pretty good copyright infringement argument.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Sorry it's so long. I thought it was quick, but
it's
maybe not.
it is a little complicated because there are different aspects to copyright that we can talk about and get into. But you've hit the sweet spot of my geekdom, and I am endlessly fascinated by it. So thank you for asking about something that
well, I like it too, but still. Sorry it took so long.
No, totally okay. So Julie, I feel like this all started with our discussion about your bizarre magic and storytelling and what you want to do with this stuff. And I think the answer at the end of the day is you can do anything you want with it.
Right. Yeah.
The silk, if you want to do the silk vanishing into the thumb tip and coming out of the bill, it doesn't have to be a bill. It could be something else. It could be something, you're a librarian, right?
Yeah.
So it could be one of the a bookmark. It could be I'm just using obvious connections. One of those cards with the stamps. When people check things out, I know they don't use those anymore because we've gone through 5 different kinds
An ancient
of
artifact, but still you could talk about it being an ancient artifact and how magical it once was, or something.
Right, and so you make the silk could represent the silk. The silk doesn't have to be a silk. It could represent a person, whatever it is, and it could vanish and come back in some other way. The idea of the thing not just being a thing, but also a metaphor for something else, maybe where your interest lies.
Yeah, I don't know, but at this point, I just need patter to make enough sense so that I feel like I'm not just doing a thing in front of people. That, like eventually maybe it'll become more artistic and creative, but at least at this point, it has to feel like it's mine, and I have to, and I feel like it has to make enough consistent sense. Otherwise, I just don't even see the purpose in doing any of it. Not that, not that I'm not putting down magic. I'm just saying it's got to make enough sense to me so that it feels natural when you're doing this stuff.
I just think I have an idea. As a librarian, can you hear me?
Yep.
There's been some trouble about people banning books and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
So you could take a page of a banned book or the cover or whatever you want, and you just say, yeah, let's rip it up. And then you're like talking about the ethics of banning this book, and then you make the page reappear because you disagree with banning. I mean, I'm just thinking you got to keep it close to your life. to make it easier to do. That's the way I feel personally.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
kind
if
of,
you keep it
that's
close
kind
to
of a cool
your own
idea.
little sphere, it's easier
Yeah.
to get ideas that will make sense to you.
Right, right.
Intriguing. I like it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, I like that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So that's great. The one thing that I want to caution you a little bit is it's great. Absolutely. Yes. We're all here to be creative and make our own presentation and do our own performance. Learn the basic first.
Yeah.
Learn the routine as it's written, because the person who created the routine, you know, if you buy a trick or you get a digital download, you know, this is usually somebody's work who's done this for a long time and who's done not just magic, but this particular piece for a long time. There's a reason that the beats are where they are. There's a reason that they're going to tell you to do, you know, a joke here, a line here, hold your hand this way as opposed to this way, because they've worked on this for potentially years. And so there's expertise there that they might not be able to explain to you in words, but you know, they might not tell you why it's important to hold your hand this way as opposed to that way, but there may be a reason that they're telling you to do that. And until you've learned it the way they teach it, I wouldn't go around just throwing it all out the window, especially, you know, if you're just, you know, if you're starting, because there's a lot of subtlety to the art that makes it work. So once you've learned it, then you can change the pattern. Maybe you try to keep the beats where they are, or okay, I don't like that joke, that's not my style, but I'm going to do a different joke. But it might need a joke at that moment. So
that makes sense. Thank you. I appreciate that too. I agree
Yeah.
with that, because we're also beginners. I mean, I feel like I'm an apprentice or something.
Right. And so there's a reason you learn, you know, think about the Renaissance artists, you know, the apprentices would work in the studio of the teacher, and they would paint exactly what the teacher told them to do. They would imitate precisely. And then only once they had mastered that work, then they could go, you know, paint their own stuff.
Right.
Because you have to learn that the techniques and the basics and the rules and the whys before you go and break them and do your own thing.
Makes
So
sense.
I want to caution you on that.
Yeah, it makes sense. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, thoughts on creating your own magic? Okay, super. So I will see you in 2 weeks for rope magic. And if you have any questions, you know, I know you all know how to email me. So, by the way, I want to say you're not alone, but 2 people emailed me today looking for the link, responding to an email that had the link in it. So I just, Yumi, I was not going to out you, but
no, Sarah, to be fair, I clicked on the link and it didn't work because there was an extra parenthesis. So then I had to copy and paste the actual link. So it didn't work. So that's probably what happened with them. They probably clicked that and it wasn't working.
It was there in the email. It wasn't clickable, but it was there.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, that's all right. That's okay. Fair enough. I will try to make sure that it is a clickable link next time.
I did panic a few minutes. I must say, I almost sent you an email. And then I figured it out, but that's why I was late by a few minutes.
Owen agrees. All right. I'm hearing three, 4 people. All right. Then the fault was clearly mine. I retract my mocking. All right, Valerie, you make a fair point, and all right, we put it over the top. Anything else before we call it a day? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, super.
Hey,
Then,
thanks a lot. Great
yeah.
class.
Thank you.
Excellent.
And
All right.
thanks for the thinking about the tons of rope, because that's very good thinking about trying to save the bits of rope. So thank you for that. Thank you for thinking the way I think.
Well, because I know, if I only have if I feel like I don't have enough left, then I might use a shorter rope, and then I wouldn't have enough space to tie it. Now I'm trying to make a knot in a piece of rope this big, and and it's just like, no, we don't have to do this. I'll just get more rope.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That's perfect. Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Yes, it is an egregious amount of rope, but there was a method to my madness. So have a great time, everybody. I look forward to seeing what you do in 2 weeks, and to learning some more magic.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.
All right, bye-bye.